All right, so today we are going to be discussing the marketing plan and how to build one that executes. And we're going to be covering on the being clear on who you're attracting, how you're going to reach them. And this is the most important one, you'll consistently execute. We're going to also be discussing the benchmark that we have here at Wize about what percentage of your revenue should be dedicated to marketing in your firm. Before we begin, what percentage of revenue do you think should be dedicated to marketing per year? It is 5%. To put it into perspective, on $1 million firm, that's 50,000. And then at 500,000, it's 25,000. And 12 and a half, even half that. So if you have this budget set aside, are you currently consistently spending that? Is there a plan for how that money is spent? Okay. Or is it just given to a marketing agency to handle? It could be paid ads. It could be investing in SEO or articles or with strategists. Randy, you mentioned when we first did our GPSs that you were on Instagram.
I'm on YouTube and I'm on Transistor that goes to all the different podcast platforms. So I'm like on Apple and Spotify, and I don't know what's big in Australia, but yeah.
Oh, it just goes out there. And with this, right, of course, in terms of like commitment, you will have to be able to commit your time. In some cases, some might argue that, yeah, that's an even bigger commitment than even 5% revenue because you're getting involved. How has that played out for you so far? Like, what have you been measuring to track how that has been producing?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't even done it quite a year yet. It's been about 10 months, and we just put together a really, really good lead magnet that now connects to YouTube, and now it's going to my platform, and so people can download the free lead magnet. So we just did that in the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
Is that something that you made once before at all? Like, do you come back to refresh it, this lead magnet?
Yes. It's way more professional. It looks like a top tier. I mean, it looks like a professionally made deal. So everything all fits together, same font, same understated style for more sophisticated folks.
Excellent. So, it's something that requires constant maintenance, basically, right? So from a financial resourcing point of view, it's really easy to see how, like, okay, so out of that 5%, that's a commitment we're going to make, and it improves on our conversions, right? It makes our marketing worth it. It attracts leads towards the firm. That's awesome, Randy. The hardest part about executing or even making a marketing plan is figuring out that thing that you're going to consistently execute on, okay? There's the who of your attracting and how you reach them. Sure, that's important, but they're just decisions to be made. It's what you consistently execute and then resource that will weigh on you every single day. And you will feel it. It's workload or it's spend every single day, because that's what's happening now. To begin with, we need to be able to figure out and have a target on who we're going to attract. And if you're a firm that has been in business at least 3 years, you would already know that there is a type of client that tends to like be drawn to your firm, okay? Or ones that you tend to feel like are your bread and butter. They might not be the most exciting, but they tend to be your bread and butter. You want to look at your own existing client base with existing data of clients that you've already served as the place to be able to assess who should you be attracting. And by focusing on assessing client track record with your firm, you are working off actual data and you are doing a data-driven decision. In all of marketing, especially digital, it is the analytics that play an absolute key role in telling you what you're actually going to return. And it applies everywhere, from the views that you might get monthly to the keyword difficulty or competition that a Google keyword on SEO might have. Who you're attracting, you want to start with those clients that you understand very well and you have confirmed are a good category. Once you've identified these clients, okay, and we'll call that phase 1. Phase 2, you want to kind of just take I don't know what the term is. It's that one where they study like other things like anthropological view on that set of clients and sort of try and think of what is the life cycle of this species? And then in what various paths do they diverge? Like maybe like a dentist, get out of dentist school, they work for someone else, they're PAYG, they become a contractor, make a bit more money, they start finding some assistance, and then they start having a business. They start purchasing property, they start building centers. Okay. And then maybe by that point, they're in their 50s, 60s, or whatever it is. So looking at these set of clients, you're trying to draw these patterns and you're trying to study on their life cycle. The who in part of what you're attracting here, I want to emphasize the like, how much do you understand this? I'll give you the inverse to illustrate why I'm going on about this. If you ask the typical firm what their persona is, they'll go, yep, it's a small business and they've got properties. That's fine if it can be elaborated on, but it usually can't. It's fine if this person genuinely like, give me an example of a narrative, but typically no. So this is an insufficient level of understanding on the who you're attracting here. My best advice that can apply to every firm is you look at your own existing client base. Now, how you'll reach them. The how is very important because if you pick a difficult how, you'll find it very hard to do the third one, which is do it consistently. So if the way you're going to reach them is through like highly produced videos, that might be a bit difficult. Okay. But sometimes people pick the too easy, like the default option. Oh, I'll just start writing articles on my website now, right? And writing to them. That's still not enough. It's just like doing and copying what you're hearing on the internet. The how is the strategy. This is like, so what game are we going to play here in order to reach them? To give an example, this is a very, very old tool. I know it's got AI plastered everywhere now, but not too long ago, and it still is today, but the number one SEO keyword research tool out there. Going back to these slides here, the how you reach them. If by understanding who you're attracting, documenting this, discussing it with your team, like really going to your ends to answer questions and get the whole firm aligned on it. If past this and you're at the how you reach them, I can only just share of my things I've tried because I'm not a marketing expert. I can just tell you the things I've tried, but the how can vary wildly. Okay, some people might say video is better. Some people might say cold outreach is better. I think I put more weighting into like something that I wanted to do and that I would do consistently, because that's knowing who I am rather than going for something absolutely wild and like difficult, like creating playbooks once a week or something. So I used this tool called Ahrefs, and my strategy back then was this. And to this day, our website gets about 58,000 views per month or every 30 days. And that was when I last checked, maybe like 2 months ago. And I have not updated it in like 2 years, and it's extremely out of date, but it's still holding its own in this SEO game being played out here. And my strategy was really simple. I went on the AFR, that's the Australian Financial Review's top 100 accounting firms. So in every country, I'm sure we have our own list of top 100 accounting somethings. Okay, it could be Hong Kong, Florida, Miami, New York, whatever it is. Wherever you are, you will have a top 100 accounting firms. And you want to use a tool like Ahrefs. It does cost a lot of money. I was paying $700 a month for it at one point, but I needed it for like a few months in order to conduct research and get a process going. But what you would do is you would put the domain of each of those top 100 firms into Ahrefs. Here is a great image of an example of this. So I would put the firm's URL in here, and then on the left nav, I would go and research their organic keywords and top pages. And I want to know what pages do these firms have as their top keywords and pages. And what I found by going through every single firm, every single top 100 firm, plus a few more over multiple years lists worth, going over these, I would go and collect all these keywords. And I think I collected around like 2,000 of them. And I've realized that every accounting firm top 100, they all had a one thing or a few small subset of things they were known for. Sometimes it was a partner. Sometimes they'll get there because people just like simply search a name. I would say all the way until about the top 30 accounting firms, do the SEO results have any value to us? Because at the PwC level, they're talking about like some scandal in a different country. But like everyone from the top 31 to 100 is really worth paying attention to. My strategy, my how was, okay, well, I'm just going to get all the best things that these firms are good for, ranking for. If they're relevant to my business, I'll put them all together. And then I filtered out of this 2,000 keyword list the ones with the lowest keyword difficulty, but the highest volume. And then the strategy was, okay, I had a whole bunch of lists and I kind of was stuck there. But Tim Korsbrook, the other mentor, helped me actually put it into an article schedule. Like he actually saw order in it. When he put it finally into a schedule, you cannot do, like, it whittled the list down to about 500 keywords. But if you do one article a week, how long will it take you to write 500 articles? Like 10 years, 500, how are you going to write 500 articles if you write one a week, if you're going to stick to one a week? The beauty, and I'm starting to see this more and more nowadays, is the how you reach them. In the how of anything, you want to do your research to the point where it's presented in front of you like a whole backlog of work that is impossible to do in a human lifetime. And then you'll solve. You'll see if you can solve it. And we solved it. We solved it by hiring marketing people, training them, employing tools like Ahrefs. There are more. But we stuck to it consistently. I had a partner working together with me in marketing. And honestly, his website's doing way better than mine. If I had to go back, I would have just done 500 articles on bucket companies, trusts, company structures. Nowadays, company structures is really important. I just had tons of that, knowing the leads that have come out the other end. That long experiment and the value I want to provide to us today on that front is just pick a small subset of topics and completely dominate it. Your case studies of your best clients, because you can be totally led astray with analytics, but it did serve as a good experiment. Okay, so that's the how. We did SEO. Nowadays, the firm would focus more so on working with partners, like say other JVs or brokers, and sort of trying to, we find that's a bit more long term. The digital is just going to be there. Out of all the mediums that I've seen a firm can choose, YouTube has been by far the most unchallenged area that accounting firms have in terms of marketing. And I've had multiple strategists that I've paid basically give me the same conclusion, that it's just YouTube. Davey Mack, I'm not sure who here has heard of Davey Mack. Maybe if you're in Australia, you've heard of Davey Mack. He has this one video on about companies, trust first company structures. It's going to be old now, but it had about 155,000 views. And you think about it, how many inquiries did 155,000 views get from a 15 or something minute video comparing trust first company structures? Maybe 1,000? You know what? The scale is enormous. The scale to an accounting firm is the internet completely blows out the scale of an accounting firm. Like, how many do you need? And 1,000 come through, and what, 200 of them do a discovery meeting, and 100 will then ask for a proposal. $100 for a proposal for an entity set up in Australia with a trust and a company set up. Like the old school way might have been like that, trustee company, family trust sort of thing. To two entities, they'll come and set up. They might get charged $3,000, $4,000. So what is $4,000 on that 100 proposals they sent out, and they convert 20% of it? 20 converted proposals for about $4,000 each. It's like 80 grand. That video, that one video, how much money did it cost to make that video? If it's a great video, I think they could have spent 10 grand on it. I don't think so. He was there. He's doing a video from his office, and it's well edited though. Okay. And he has built up a reputation. He does know the YouTube game, and the people watching it don't know that he knows how to play that game really well. They just see helpful information. I've personally seen his calendar as well, and his charge out rate is double I would usually see here, and it's full. Okay. It's more business a firm can handle. So how you reach them, I think digital is a non-negotiable unless your non-digital strategy is compelling. I'll give you one example. There's a firm owner here who relocated her office into an area in Australia, in Sydney, that was high in manufacturing and research and development, right in the center of it. Like these are industrial districts, business districts, really. Put their office there, and that's a great move. Imagine capturing that whole geographical location. If you have a geographical advantage, sure, you will be able to have a non-digital strategy. When you are able to find something that can click for you digitally, the scale is enormous. You just have to find something that clicks. The reason to research to the point where you end up with a gigantic list that feels like it would take years based off conventional advice. Like, conventional advice is write one article a week. Okay, then it will take 10 years. We have to write 4 or 5 articles a week in order to like get it in any reasonable time frame. Maybe get it down to like 1 year. And really it really took 3 years. At least we stuck by it. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Tim Korsbrook, I don't know how we would have just gotten. He's a great writer. My job was I'll do the research on the SEO. He was a great writer and he knew how to put the SEO structure into place. Okay, so yeah, the how would include people. To expand on that, Joy, can you tell us what are you trying to solve? So what do you mean by specialized or a marketing agency? What are you trying to solve?
I'm just not quite sure where I should start, to be honest. I did try short video post regularly on a LinkedIn, but doesn't seem works well. Kind of wanting, should I get someone to guide me how to do it, how to do more effective, or should be outsourcing to someone else? I'm just not quite sure where to start.
Outsourcing is like never always a wrong answer. There's a role that outsourcing has and working with an agency has in a marketing roadmap, for sure. And that's a great question, actually, and which will give us more structure to like today, which is defining this executable roadmap. I would work with an expert to first establish the strategy, and that defines the who, how, and the what. It's really up to you to experiment with. But the first person I would meet would be a specialist or an expert in a strategy on helping you define your who and your how. Like to challenge you on how deeply you can think about your who and your how. That's what a marketing strategist would do. I paid for them. There have been like there's a guy called, his name is MC Carter. I went through his persona thing. It just opened my eyes to, right, basically gotta know everything about this person, their demographic, psychology, where did they get the news, what pain. The most important thing is what pains do they have that you can solve? You're solving, whose pains are you solving? Okay, if you take that and you start researching, like coming in with a bit of background into it first, you might find that, oh, I'm going to start answering these questions. And then you might need to go see an expert. You might see someone like an MC Carter. So that's the how. So the way to start would be a strategist. It took investment. It took knowing who are regular members, who are new members, what everyone's about, and sharing what like brings value to them. To be honest, that's the most purest form of what like any form of digital is. It's attempting to do that at scale, but it's always going to be a sample. Any firm who has that opportunity should take that over writing articles. If it's going to take anyone's time, let's go to these conferences, 100%. If anyone's got time, go meet people, 100%.
So my niche, this is how I developed it. But I did it before COVID when there were a lot more attendees in my niche. But after COVID, way more people are doing this. They're not going to conferences. I'm not finding it cost effective. Now, it may be cost effective in Australia. I don't know. So I have gone to a bunch of different conferences in my very narrow niche. And that's how I got started. But I don't find it cost effective now. Just because the cost is just getting too much.
Right.
Yeah, there is that factor, but yes, it costs money. But so does the marketing. The digital marketing costs money and time, and and also you've got to go. You're in the room with all the people you need to talk to. It is direct. Yeah, it's like you're just going straight to the source. You're not. These people have got a good chance to be interested in what you do. It's very difficult to calculate the ROI because, like I said, I can go to one of these things and no one even talks to me and no one asks me for a card. Then people email you later. Yeah, it's a very gray area. Marketing in general is very gray. You just don't know.
I think what I'm seeing is quite interesting, David and Randy. It's because Randy, it was due to COVID that you saw conferences drop off, whereas that may be a different case in Sydney. In which case, I guess it goes back to the thing I mentioned where if you have a digital strategy, it's because you're exploiting a geographical advantage. Okay, so if you're exploiting a geographical advantage, great. Okay. And it's giving ROI, Randy. And in terms of David, everything's cost something. The 5% or five, I like Sean, your 5 to 8% revenue, because 8% might be an aggressive spend. 10% might even be an aggressive spend. But as long as we budget for it, of course, right? Looking inwardly at your own person, if you pick the thing that you're willing to do consistently, that's the right first move. If you pick writing though, it's just going to take a long time. If you pick making a splash at a conference, everyone might know you straight away, right? If you go on YouTube, you might go viral. Every platform has its own way of rewarding success. You know, they're all good. You can point to many, many millionaires in every platform. You just need to pick one and then just willingly do it consistently.